Welcome, Rangers. I'm Joe, here with me, my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
Today we're discussing the arrival of the Rangers on Phaedos. Phaedos is a bit of an interesting planet because it's tropical in nature. It seems like it's got deserts. It's got jungles, lots of jungles. And it seems like the very rocks and the very earth is an enemy. Because, like, the first thing we see is really the bones of someone who landed and wanted to try for the secret power. Apparently, it didn't work out too well for him.
Yeah, because when the planet itself is made of the bones of
Well, I don't know if it's made of the bones of the victims. I'd say they just litter the entire place.
yeah, it's like
But this means that technically, even Dulcia is guilty of littering. There are laws against that. Littering, this is a
well, she did find a dumpster.
very funny. But all I'm saying is that Phaedos might have climate change issues. This is a problem. I couldn't resist that joke. Come on. It's a joke. And to everyone, yes, it is. But, yeah, the thing is, you have the Rangers kind of react with a bit of consternation. And they kind of wonder what happened to it. I think the response is something like, who knows? Let's just go. Pretty much. Which Tommy and Rocky are the ones pressing for, just move on. They're not wrong. Of course, they're being watched by Dulcia. Now, I know there's a scene change, I think, to Ivan here. But we're going to continue with the Rangers. And then we'll switch over to Ivan. Now, the Rangers, interestingly, have been traveling for hours for a time, and we get one of the few romantic scenes between Tommy and Kim, which thankfully isn't full of kissing and isn't smacking in your face. And the reason I'm grateful for this is that, in hindsight, a little bit of subtlety and softness. We don't need we don't need overt scenes.
Do you get it yet? Do you get it yet? Do you get it yet?
Yeah, it beats us over the head. Like, if this was a Spielberg movie, we totally would have had, like, 3 scenes like that. Or even, well, maybe not Spielberg, but, like, if it was George R. R. Martin or some other incompetent doofus like that, yeah, we would have had scenes like that. Actually, even Spielberg occasionally has lapsed into scenes like that, and it was like, ugh. So, this is where Power Rangers plays it more tastefully. And we have Kim, who stops, because she's at the rear of the party. She stops to stare at the sea. Now, interesting fun fact, people may have forgotten this, but in the 90s there was a lot of sea movies. What I mean by this is that it was a fad. You had Free Willy. After that, a lot of movies had oceans and whatnot that appear. Like, you've got Deep Blue Sea, I think it is. You've got various shark movies. You've got all sorts of ocean-based movies. But even those that didn't would have the characters go to the beach or, go to the ocean or something. And I actually kind of miss it. It was a feature which I really liked because it showed the beauty of nature. And the characters would usually pause before it. And the messaging seemed just that, look, it's beautiful. And, like, it was squeezed into the Call the Conqueror movie, which, yeah, it's an adaptation of The Hour of the Dragon, but still. Even anime got in on the act. Dragon Ball Z had entire episodes next to the ocean, on Namek and on Earth during the Android saga. And a lot of that was really done in the 80s, yes. But also, you have to bear in mind, some of it was adapted, at least for us, in the 90s, we only got it English dubbed, in the 90s. But if you pay attention to a lot of anime that came out around that time, like Anatolia Story, or that was a manga, I should say, you had a lot of scenes of the ocean. And it seems to have been a fascination at the time. Now, since then, we've not really gotten as many stories about that include an ocean visit or view. And like I said, I kind of miss it. I wish we'd get more movies that actually took a moment, looked at the sea, and had the characters just talk. Like, there was... I would argue even the 80s kind of had this. Like, Rocky 3 has Rocky Breakdown by the Sea, where Adrian confronts him and says, "What are you so afraid of?" Because Rocky's now without a mentor. At least to his mind. He has some, but he doesn't realize it. And I don't know what you think of that. Because, like, Kim just stops there and just says she's thinking about Zordon and all the times she shared with him. And basically she'd be losing her father figure if she lost Zordon.
And it's there to show the emotional weight. It's fine to get the power to stop ooze.
Uh-huh.
But there's also Zordon that they all want to save.
Yeah. And what about once... there's no point in defeating Zordon to their mind, I guess. To her mind, at least. If it means defeating Ivan. If it means losing Zordon. And what's also interesting is that Tommy seems to sympathize with her. He does say, "I get it." And he takes the time to do what all men should probably do. His woman is tearing herself apart with worry and consternation and anxiety. What does he do? He steps up, calms down, tells her it's okay, we're going to get this power, we're going to defeat Ivan, and we're going to save Zordon. So, don't worry. And Tommy says it with a mixture of confidence and also anger. She might be breaking down. He's getting angry.
Give him a green ring.
Yeah, I know. But Tommy's rage, we have to bear in mind, he's basically the sun. He's got... Him and Zordon are interlinked with each other because of the white light. So, because that... Zordon poured his own essence into the white light. And some of that essence is in Tommy. So the two, in spirit, are actually father and son in a way. And there is a metaphysical bond. And so, there's probably a closer sense of... he probably has a greater awareness of what Zordon's going through on a metaphysical level and spiritual level. So that it affects Tommy in some ways more than the other Rangers. And we also have to bear in mind... we don't really see the Stone Canyon Trio's parents almost at all. Billy's got parents, but as smart as his dad's always working. The two are close, but he doesn't fully grasp the level of his son's genius. He tries, but he doesn't always succeed. He's not a bad dad. He's just... His son is so beyond even his potential.
That it's hard to connect with him.
Yeah, and then you've got Billy's mom. She is certainly not a genius. She's a smart woman. But her son is, has got an IQ at least over 200 or something. Billy is beyond her comprehension. Not going to judge. The only one who actually has understood the IQ is because he's smarter, is Zordon. Zordon does have a higher IQ than Billy. And so there's a comprehension there on some level that no one else could ever have. Now, what's interesting is Tommy's probably the next smartest Ranger, who has in some ways the best understanding of Billy. So the two do share their own bond there. But in turn, Billy's favorite seems to be, from what I've seen of this movie, Rocky and from season 2. It's interesting that those two really drifted together. In a lot of ways, Billy, as I've said before, was a mentor to Rocky, teaching him, like he taught Kimberly, you're not stupid. You just need self-confidence in your IQ. What is more is that the anger with which Tommy speaks of and the determination, I think, is actually a positive. The anger is a positive because it's righteous anger. And I'd argue it falls under the just warfare ideology or philosophy of Christianity. And the idea is that you see injustice, in defense of your home and your family, you actually have a duty and an obligation to fight. And the thing is, this is kind of the ideology that Tommy falls under. You threaten his friends and family and people, he has to fight you. It's not a question of whether he wants to. It's a matter of he has to. And he has to fight Ooze. And he naturally dislikes and disdains him because Ivan is pure evil. So he's fulfilling his duties to Kim when he reassures her, but he's also making a promise, I think, to himself and even to Zordon that he will lead the Rangers to victory and he will destroy Ivan. And I'm going to be honest, GDF really sold the scene really well.
Power Rangers wouldn't be Power Rangers without him.
Agreed. Now, it's a matter that, it's just... But anyways, don't forget to smash that like and that subscribe button to stay tuned for the next video, which will cover the Tengu Warrior attack. And also, we'll be posting in the comments section our Patreon link and our new channel, Bros Crin, which will be all about our own audio dramas and whatnot. Which, if you're curious about this kind of stories we write, you'll be able to listen to them soon. So do check out those links. And remember, Rangers, may the power protect you.